For the kuudere to be so enjoyed, the anime community has to be very chill. Yes, I'm sick, but it's been like a week, so I'm gonna force a video out anyways. Anime is dominated by kuudere characters. Okay, I don't know about dominated, but there are a good amount of them, and we do love them. Before even recording, I was gonna make the pun like... Should I leave that in? I might leave that in. When I was planning to record this video, I was about to make a pun like, everyone likes the kuudere because they're just too cool. But then I did my research and I learned that the cool side of kuudere actually literally means cool, so the pun wasn't as genius as it should have been. But that being said, the word comes from which means cool, and dere, which means love struck or lovey-dovey. We've already made a video on the dondere, another archetype that happens to be somewhat similar to the kuudere. So to modulate the key, the dondere is silent because they're shy, while the kuudere is silent because they choose to be. They're also chill, and at times may even come off as detached from reality, which is an ironic thing to say because there's nothing real about this itty. I'm sorry, it's been a while. I'm sick, I don't know what I'm saying. Let's clear up another misconception before we even go any further. This is not a kuudere, because this is strictly ku with no dere. This is a kuudere because it's one part ku and another part dere. People often see one extreme trait and ignore that any dere type is a combination. That being said, I do feel like this is the easiest character type to fumble next to tsunderes. Reason being, when making a kuudere, if you don't give them ample screen time and development, then you run the risk of making an extremely boring character. You can make them perfectly balance their quiet moments with their vocal moments, or you can sell the bag and make them far too forgettable and devoid of, well, character. And when you make a character with no character, then you've got an issue. But for the most part, I think these characters are handled pretty well. Every Demon Slayer fan comes to respect Tomioka, and the fan base has even turned him into their cinnamon roll. Saber is the face of the Fate franchise, even though literal legends are walking around. And not just Fate, but she's arguably the most popular character in the entire Nasuverse. Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, except not the actual maid, Kobayashi's Dragon Baby, is debatably the most clipped and shared character from this show. And sadly, I'm not even gonna go anywhere with that. Yeah, I'm not doing this with y'all right now. Point is, these characters are very enjoyed, and for good reason, but why? We've talked about how to fumble one, but on the flip side, when one of these calm, blank-faced, tame characters is done right, then they're a sight for sore eyes. It's always fun to see different kuuderes because despite them all falling under the same archetype, they actually have the most range for differences in character. You expect all yandere to be crazy. You expect a tsundere to be hot-headed, and when you see one of those, you can normally predict what they'll do in a situation, or at least have a general idea of where they're gonna go with something. With the kuudere, sure, they're all quiet. That's the line in the sand. You never know how any of them will react to situations or what's even going through their heads. They also tend to be a lot more forward and blunt with what they say, so you know they'll keep it a buck with you while wearing that same expressionless face. You can come up with a multitude of reasons why the kuudere is so loved. They're rational, they tend to make more meaningful connections when they do decide to speak. And there's also something very attractive about mystery, but all in all, I think it boils down to the fact that there's just something really calm about calm. No? Okay. Fact of the matter is, if you don't like the kuudere, then you're just not cool enough to appreciate a good thing when it's presented to you. The kuudere is either loved, or they're just such a flat character that you have no choice but to treat them like an inanimate object. Regardless, all my homies love kuuderes, except the ones that don't. Comment more video ideas. Bye.